I used a Zamazenta team for EUIC this past weekend, and this was probably the best I've ever done in any tournament ever. So, as everybody knows, EUIC has just finished, and I was lucky enough to participate and attend EUIC and try out a team of my own. And ever since they announced Regulation G, I knew that the team I wanted to pick was Zamazenta. So we're going to break down the Zamazenta team, and we're going to talk about how exactly it plays out, as well as giving you guys a little bit of a few matches just to show off what this team can actually do. So using this team, I was lucky enough to score a 4-3 record. I did not make day 2, but this was my first ever international event, and this was by far the best record I've ever gotten in any tournament ever for me. I've only started playing competitive VGC for about a year, give or take, and honestly, I am super excited to show off this team because this team was so good. So we're going to start things off with, of course, Zamazenta. Now, Zamazenta has been kind of a consistent restricted mon in Regulation G. It's not been groundbreaking by any means, but it has not been a Pokemon that everyone has slept on. It has been quite a consistent mon in terms of usage and in terms of success. Obviously, running with the Rusted Shield and having the Dauntless Shield ability, the Terra Dragon as well, and it's pretty much the standard set of Body Press, Wide Guard, Protect, and Heavy Slam. A lot of people would like to change Wide Guard in exchange for Iron Defense. I personally didn't run that way because I have very big difficulties with things like Calyrex, which both of their signature moves hits both Pokemon on the field, something that I'm not very too comfortable with. So Wide Guard was always that protection there for me. But again, having Iron Defense isn't too bad of a moveset. It's just, for me personally, I would prefer a Wide Guard. But the biggest thing that I wanted to get out of this Zamazenta was the EV spread. Now, we went with 100 HP mixed with a 140 impish nature on Zamazenta. One, to get those body presses out there and hitting really hard, and secondly, just to keep that little bit of extra bulk. We still get 2-shot in the mirror matchup, but it's to help resist all of the other physical attackers that want to give us problems across the meta. We also gave it a 252 speed because we wanted to make sure that it checks other Zamazenta as well. A lot more Zamazenta are reaching that 252 speed potential, just because, again, same reason as for myself, I wanted to get a jump on these Zamazentas that we're used to. Normally some Zamazentas would run 244 or around that number, or maybe sometimes a little bit less if they're going for extra bulk. So a lot more people are going for the 252 route just to make sure you get the max speed out of Zamazenta and making sure that you can get past other Zamazenta in the mirror matchup, which is why we went for a 252 speed. Next up was probably a Pokemon that I went from knowing was really good to a Pokemon that is probably going to be one of my favorite Pokemon of all time now, Amoonguss. I was so shocked at the amount of work Amoonguss put in. It was so good for this team. I really love Amoonguss. We kept it with the Rocky Helmet as well because, as I've said in previous videos before, I love having Rocky Helmet. It's my favorite item to hold, and putting on something like an Amoonguss, forcing those Choice Scarfs Urshifus, those Focus Sash Urshifus to force to hit Amoonguss and take more damage than what they're giving to Amoonguss for it, makes me so happy every single time. We went with the Terra Water to help steer clear of Ice Rider Calyrex. I literally put in Amoonguss on this team specifically designed to help me get rid of Ice Rider Calyrex, or at least help me in that matchup against Ice Rider Calyrex. It is one of my worst restricted to come up against. I hate going up against Ice Rider Calyrex, so having Amoonguss here really helped me a ton. Regenerator, because of course you get that switch out, you get that nice HP boost. It's very nice there. Spore, Protect, Sludge Bomb, and Rage Powder. We've gone through many topics with Amoonguss like this, where normally when you see a Trick Room Amoonguss, you normally see Pollen Puff, and if you see an Amoonguss outside of Trick Room, it normally runs Sludge Bomb. Of course, in this case, we are not running Trick Room, so we are having that Sludge Bomb there. We both still get the jump on other grass types. We get like really good damage there if we don't want to put them to sleep and we want to try and go for extra damage. We've got that poison factor there, which is quite nice. So it's all around really good for Amoonguss. And for the EV spreads here, we made it specifically designed to make sure it is slower than Calyrex inside of a Trick Room, which means it will always go before Calyrex in Trick Room, which was the vital factor there for me. Because of its typing as well, it doesn't get affected by other Amoonguss, which I'm completely happy about. And we kept it there majority for the time for bulk. I gave it 16 points on its special attack just to make sure that we can get a little bit of extra damage here and there on things like an Ogerpon or things like a Rillaboom, just to kind of change the game a little bit for us. The bulk on Amoonguss is really respectable, and you have to respect the bulk on Amoonguss, so I didn't mind giving a few little extra EVs into that special attack set just so we can get 1 or 2 shots off the board instead of making it a 3 hit. Like it's a really good 2 hit. It just helps a lot more for Amoonguss to kind of chip away at KOs if we so need it to. Next up, we have the Raging Bolt with Assault Vest. I think Assault Vest Raging Bolt is pretty much like the main set for Raging Bolt here, in my opinion. I think because of its really good bulk and its really good just defensive premises, it's just really, really nice to have. Going into that Terra Fairy as well, Thunderclap, Thunderbolt, Draco Meteor, and a Snarl as well. Snarl to just get things like a Shadow Rider Calyrex under control, things like Chiyu under control, maybe sometimes a Flutter Mane under control, just all those factors there where it's just like, Snarl isn't there mainly to do damage, it was mainly there to get that special attack drop, just to make sure that we can stay in the game for a little bit longer and just make them kind of do more to get rid of us. We also have the stats spread out this way because the 52 special defense plus the Assault Vest also makes us really, really bulky, so I can take extra points off of the special defense knowing that Assault Vest is going to boost us up a bit more, and I can kind of spread it around a bit more. I wasn't too fussed on the damage output that Raging Bolt gives. With Thunderbolt, we still get the one shot on Urshifu, which didn't really bother me too much. We still do big damage with Draco Meteor, we still do respectable damage with Thunderclap. It didn't really bother me too much about the special attack, as well as being a modest nature. It didn't bother me too much. I just wanted Raging Bolt to be there to kind of chip damage over time, if anything get the special attack drops over time, and just making sure that we can kind of soften things up for Zamazenta to come in and kind of sweep the rest, or things like Chien Pao and Urshifu, which we'll get to in a second. Next up is Flutter Mane. Now Flutter Mane for me was just really, really good in terms of a supportive mindset. It was really, really good for support. It was really, really good just to apply a little bit of extra damage. We've got the booster energy here to help boost its speed. We've got the Terra Grass to help steer clear of things like Amoonguss as well. This also helps us get saved from things like an Urshifu if it wants to go for a Surging Strikes. It also helps us steer clear of a Rillaboom Woodhammer as well. And then we've got the moveset of Moonblast, Icy Wind, Taunt, and Thunder Wave. We kept with Thunder Wave and Icy Wind because there's times where Icy Wind doesn't slow them down enough. So instead of going for that -1 speed drop, we went for Thunder Wave as well to make sure that we can kind of get even further of a speed decrease, getting that 1/3 speed decrease, as well as giving them a chance of not moving, period, which can always be very, very annoying. So if Amoonguss isn't there to put them asleep, I've got Flutter Mane on the other side that can just put on Thunder Wave and give them a chance of just not moving and being slower, then Zamazenta, then the Chien Pao, then the Urshifu if we so need it to. And then the way we've set up the EVs here, with the way that Flutter Mane is set up, we can actually live, I believe, 1 Glacial Lance off of a Ice Rider. It's a very specific range. Either we tank the blow or it's a very specific range for Ice Rider Calyrex to hit us, which is very, very impressive here. And the timid nature with 140 EVs on the speed means that we will always be faster than a boosted energy Roaring Moon, which is something that we also have to really take into consideration as well, because Roaring Moon likes to get that boosted energy speed as well, get that tailwind and get those knockoffs. So at least for Flutter Mane, we've got pressure there for that Roaring Moon to make sure Roaring Moon cannot get anything to pressurize us in terms of speed. After that is the Chien Pao, pretty much standard Chien Pao set here with the Focus Sash, Terra Ghost to make sure we don't get hit with a Fake Out, Protect, Ice Spinner, Sucker Punch, and Throat Chop. Now, a lot of people like to run Icicle Crash instead of Ice Spinner, but I have a problem with the terrain. So things like Miraidon, things like Rillaboom, especially things like Indeedee, I don't want terrains up. The terrains absolutely just, when I was practicing this team, things like Miraidon absolutely messed me up, so I wanted to make sure that that Ice Spinner was clear. I did not want to deal with Ice Spinner giving me that many problems. So Ice Spinner was there to make sure Miraidon doesn't really move too swiftly, that it has to force out Bolt switches, it has to force out manually switching. Same thing with Rillaboom as well. Sucker Punch and Throat Chop as well is just pretty much the same standard stuff, just nice stab dark type moves. Sucker Punch as well, just in case they do get up a tailwind. I've just got nice pressure there as well, or something like a Choice Scarf. I've just got nice pressure in that aspect. So I really did like Chien Pao. Chien Pao got a lot of good wins for us as well. I really did like how Chien Pao worked in this game. And then finally, probably the most wild card I have on the team is a Safety Goggles Rapid Strike Urshifu. Now, Rapid Strike Urshifu is just obviously really good, as we've established in the EUIC summary, which you can check out in the description below. Rapid Strike Urshifu was the most popular non-restricted Pokemon throughout both days of EUIC, which was absolutely insane. Going into Terra Water as well, making sure that we could just get extra damage off those Surging Strikes, and as well as the Unseen Fist as well. This Pokemon is amazing. This Pokemon is absolutely amazing. One of the greatest of all time. The Urshifu is just so good. We also have the moveset of Aqua Jet, Close Combat, Detect, and Surging Strikes. We have that chance there to put in the Aqua Jet because, of course, Flutter Mane is running that Taunt. At least want one Taunt Pokemon there, but for Urshifu, having that Aqua Jet priority priority plus the Terra Water just makes things so much easier to deal with. And the reason why we did safety goggles instead is because, one, we stay clear of Amoonguss, and I remember hearing that it was a nice way to get around the regional winning team that won before EUIC that was made by Justin and Shiliang Tang with their Ice Rider Calyrex with Amoonguss combination. It was a very nice way to stay clear of Amoonguss, but also having that resistance against Calyrex to kind of dish out the damage still. So I kept Rapid Strike Urshifu as that with the safety goggles, and honestly, the biggest threat that it had that was Amoonguss isn't really a factor for me anymore, because Pollen, if it's a Trick Room set, it's Pollen Puff, which doesn't really bother me too much, and with the Sludge Bomb, again, most likely you're not seeing a very aggressive Amoonguss, so it doesn't really phase me too much. So yeah, seeing that safety goggles on Urshifu is something that I'm probably going to keep on Urshifu throughout many teams. I really do like safety goggles Urshifu. I think it is an amazing set to go for. And then finally is the EV spread as well. We went with a Jolly Nature with 180 speed EVs. The reason why we did this is to make sure that we are always faster than a modest Nature Landorus. That was kind of like one of the bigger threats that I had there, because Zamazenta can't really do the damage, and there might be instances that Chien Pao needs to focus more on the ally rather than Landorus itself. So that way we kind of have that way where we can still outspeed the Landorus, but we don't need Chien Pao solely to do it, which was kind of like the big factor there. So we made sure that we was just at least faster than Landorus, which was like the most important thing, and we tried to stack as much as we could in a little bit of bulk, as well as getting the majority of it into its attack stat. If I could rewind and do it differently, I might suggest actually taking off the special defense, because most times you're not really living too much from the special attacking side. Like Flutter Mane Moonblast on like 4 EVs will still take you out. Raging Bolt Thunderbolt might do the same. It was a bit rough. It was a bit rough figuring out the special defensive side, but it was at least a way to make sure that, you know, a few Pokemon made a range on Urshifu instead of straight up one-shotting it, which I would obviously take rather than knowing that I'm gonna die. Just making a range felt more nicer to me at the time. So I'm going to show off this team for a little bit just to show you guys what exactly this team can do. And if you guys like this type of content, let me know by leaving a like down below, as well as maybe hitting that subscribe button. It helps me out a ton. But let's get into this first match and see exactly what we are dealing with. So it's a Shadow Rider Calyrex team. Most likely there's Expanding Force on it as well. Okay, cool. Most likely Choice Scarf Chiyu, which is fine. Okay, there's a few factors we can do here, but I think for the majority of it, we're going to say... this is going to be quite interesting. This is going to be very, very interesting. We're going to say Chien Pao first, and then maybe I either want to say Amoonguss or I want to say Urshifu, one of the two. Actually, we'll go with... Do we go with Zamazenta? This is a very rough start. Actually, you know what? We'll go with Raging Bolt first, because that way we can pick off Snarls. We can start picking off Snarls. We should be okay on that aspect as well. I will rock in a Flutter Mane as well, and let's just say the Zamazenta at the last spot to figure out what exactly this can be done. All right, what's the leads? Calyrex Flutter Mane. Okay, cool. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. That's okay. That's fine. We got a solid lead in my opinion. I think we've got a pretty solid lead. So let's see how exactly we can get this done. So I feel like they're gonna try and either double up into the Chien Pao, or they're gonna try and get or they're probably gonna spread it. It's either gonna be a Draining Kiss or an Astral Barrage on both. So what we're going to do here, we're going to protect on the Chien Pao, and then we are going to Terrasilize and hit the Snarl on both. Just double checking that I don't need Terrasilization on anybody else. Not particularly. We still run fast. We still run faster than the Calyrex from what I know of. And Zamazenta doesn't really change that much. We're in trouble with Flutter Mane otherwise. So yeah, so we should be fine. There we go, they Terra as well. I'm assuming the Terra Dark on the... I'm assuming it's also going to be Terra Fairy, sorry, on the Calyrex. Terra Fairy. Terra Ghost, which makes me feel like it is a Choice Specs. This makes me feel like it's either a Choice Specs or a Spell Tag. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes. So... this is fine. This is okay. We still got the Protect. We're still fine. We're still good. We're still okay. As long as they don't double up into the Bolt, it could be a bit dicey, but we might be able to stick this out. So there's the Protect on the Chien Pao. I'm assuming the Flutter Mane would have probably doubled up into the Chien Pao. Moonblast, yep, there's the Protect. Okay, cool. So that means Raging Bolt lives, which means we should have more than enough space to work. Yep, there's the Astral Barrage. That's fine. Chien Pao safe. They're still going to focus on the Chien Pao anyway. That's completely fine. We're safe. We're safe. We're good. So as long as it doesn't crit, I think we should be okay. I think even Choice Specs... Terra Ghost, we should live. Doesn't even get us to half HP. And then there's the Snarl, the Explode, fantastic. Let's see what the item is. What's the stakes here? Okay, oh wow, crit on both was quite nice. So there's the special attack there, and then special attack there as well. Okay, cool. That means there's a really, really good chance. That means there's a pretty good chance that it is Choice Specs, which I'm actually okay with. So we are going to, I think Flutter Mane is actually giving me more issues. So I'm gonna Sucker Punch the Flutter Mane, and then we'll just Snarl again. The Sucker Punch on the Flutter Mane. Flutter Mane goes, ooh, very close, but not yet. That's fine. I can lose Chien Pao. That's completely fine. I can lose Chien Pao. That's fine. I can lose Chien Pao. They're not swapping in Indeedee, which makes me feel like they haven't got Indeedee, which is quite strange. We still, now that if the Snarl hits the Flutter Mane, our Flutter Mane will be the fastest thing on the field, which means all we got to do is just go and hit it. We're fine. We're good. We're immediately fine. Let's go Nace. Now it's back on neutral. And there's a Snarl again. Flutter Mane's gone. So now it's back on -1. Okay, cool. No, this is fine. We're in a good position. Right, I'm actually going to say Zamazenta here. I'm going to say Zamazenta because there's a chance that it is Indeedee. I still think that there's this Indeedee out in the field, which I need to be very, very careful for. It's Chiyu. Okay, cool. That's fine. That's completely fine. That is completely fine. Honestly, I'm completely fine with that. So they've already terrored, which is already fine. So what we're going to do here, we're going to protect on the Zamazenta, and then we are going to Thunderclap into the Calyrex. Because that way, if the Chiyu wants to do Overheat, we're fine. If it wants to do Heat Wave, we should live. And of course, the priority boost means that we get rid of Calyrex immediately. We can still one-shot the Chiyu. And now this means that if it is Choice Scarf Chiyu, we can figure this out. This will be fine. Yep, this Heat Wave, that's completely fine. That's completely fine. We're good. We're in a good position. That's fine. Raging Bolt did amazing. Took out 2 mons for us. Did absolutely amazing. Still in that 2v2 though, which is completely fine. But I feel like this Chiyu is definitely going to be... Oh, it's a Light Orb Chiyu. Oh, okay, cool. It's Light Orb. That's interesting to know. That's an interesting take to know. Who's the last one? It is Rapid Strike Urshifu. Okay, cool. I'm actually fine with that. I'm okay with that. I'm actually okay with this. So, with the Life Orb, there is a chance that the Chiyu is going to protect. That's kind of the big flaw here. There is a chance that the Chiyu can protect, and it's just going to go Surging Strikes into the Flutter Mane. So what we're going to do here, we are going to Body Press. It's going to be risky. It's going to be very, very risky because I don't know if the Urshifu is Focus Sashed, but it's a big risk, but we'll have to take it. Please show me it's Protect on Chiyu. It's not Protect on Chiyu. This is going to be right. Oh, hang on a minute. No, wait a minute. It was a Focus Sash. Okay, sick. That means we should outspeed the Chiyu, right? Because if it's not Life Orb, we get the shot. Very nice. GG's. GG's. Very good. Very, very good. Love to see it. But that was just a highlight of how good this team can be. Honestly, I feel like if I had more experience doing this, I would have gone so much further. And again, it was my first international, so I'm not going to beat myself too much about it. I am very proud of the results I got. I am very proud of what I did and where I came at. It was a very, very good team. I'm really happy with this team. If you guys want to try out this team yourself, the rental code is in the description below. I'm still keeping this team active if you guys want to try this out. But yes, let me know what you guys think of the team. Let me know how you guys did if you also attended EUIC, and I will catch you all in the next video. Right, guys, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.